Hello students, in the previous lecture we have discussed about the programmable logic controller and its basic. Now in this session we will discuss about the various components or various part of the PLC. A programmable logic controller consists of major four parts. One is your input module, second one is your processor, and third one is your output module and power supply. And one most important device which is not the inbuilt part of the PLC is the programming device. This programming device is used to write the program and download or upload the program from PLC or into the PLC. Now we will discuss in detail about these parts. So first one, this is the input module. The function of input module is to give input signal to the processor. Now the input module may be AC input module or it may be DC input module. Commonly used input modules may be 12 volt or 24 volt DC. And if it is AC input module, then AC input module may be 110 volt AC or 230 volt AC. Now, what is connected to the input module? The various sensing devices which are connected to the motor for sensing certain applications or sensing certain parameters are connected to the input module. The commonly used input devices are your switches, that may be NO switch or start push button, stop push button, or it may be NC contact, NO contact, it may be pressure switch, it may be limit switch, it may be temperature sensor. These are connected to the input module. Now here you need to take one care that the input module, if it is a 24 volt input module, then all the signals which are coming to this one must have the same voltage level, that is 24 volt. Now this is the start push button. If it is start push button is connected to 230 volt, you cannot directly connect it to the DC input module of 24 volt. Okay, so that precaution you have to take, that whatever the inputs sensing devices you are connected to the input module must have the same voltage level. Now inside the input module, whatever the supply which are connected, that may some sensing devices may be connected to different voltage. Okay, so this input module make them at the same level. Now inside the input module there is the opto isolator which will give 5 volt supply to the PLC irrespective of the input supply. Now the input module will give you the 5 volt supply to your processor. Okay, as most of the processor will work on 5 volt supply. So function of input module is simply get the input from the field devices, convert that input signal into 5 volt signal and give it to the central processing unit. Now what is in the central processing unit? In the central processing unit we have a CPU which will perform number of processes. Okay, and we have second part as a memory. The central processing unit has two types of memory. The one is the program memory and second one is your data memory. Memories are commonly known as RAM memory and ROM memory. RAM memory is used to temporarily store the data or variable, and program memory is your ROM memory, that is read-only memory. It is a permanent memory, non-volatile memory, which is used to store the program, which is written to do certain application. Okay, to execute certain application. Now what are the input signals are coming? As per the input signals, the program is going to be executed from the memory. Okay, so how the program execution will take place? So when input signal is available, at that time that program is executed will search for that particular input, and that particular input, what is the action taken on that input, it is going to be decided over here. And then depending on the logic which you have written into the program, it will activate or deactivate certain output devices. Okay, so in PLC, nowadays the PLC also come with micro SD card backup. Okay, so you can just download the program into the micro SD card also, and in case if the program is going to be corrupt or something is going to be happen, that program can be downloaded from micro SD card to your PLC. But these are available for new PLC. Old PLC does not have that provision. The central processing unit is the brain of your PLC. It will process all the data. And third part is your output module. Now, once the program is going to be executed, what happen, based on the input and logic which is written in the program, certain output devices may get energized or de-energized. Okay, so this CPU will give signal to the output module. Normally this signal is 5 volt DC. Okay, but the output devices may be having different types. So output modules may come into two variants, that may be relay logic or transistor logic. Relay based output module or transistor based input module. So this is a fuse, that may be your motor, this is the indicating lamp, this is the siren or hooter. So in between the processor and output module, as well as in between the input module and processor, there is a optical isolation. Now this optical isolation is very important. If you are not giving the optical isolation, any search in the input sensing devices or input module may get to the processor and the processor may get damaged. Similarly, when I'm going to switch on these output devices, that output devices are normally energized at higher voltage level. So that higher voltage may comes to the CPU and that causes damage to the CPU. So the optical isolation is very important thing over here. Now, what happened? For working of the PLC, I required the power supply. So there is one more module that is called as the power supply module. It will provide the various voltage for the various devices. Say, if my input module is working on 12 volt DC or 24 volt DC, this power supply will provide the required voltage level to the input module. If it is a AC input module, then it will provide 110 volt or 230 volt AC. As the processor will work on 5 volt DC, so the power supply will provide the 5 volt DC for this one. Now this is the output module. Now output module may work on DC or AC. Based on that, the power supply will provide the output supply to the output module. Okay, and next most important thing is the programming device. Programming device is not an integral part of the PLC. It is the external part. Nowadays we are going to use programming device as a laptop. Okay, but in the earlier days there are dedicated computers which are using as a programming device. Say if you want to purchase a PLC, you have to purchase that programming device. It is normally some type of Crisco's, just that which you have visited, which you have observed in the railway station or your ATM. Your ATM, you have the passbook printing machine, ATM card. Such type of devices are there, in which we have keys, certain keys. Those are the symbols that contact, NC contact, or various. So you can just do the program over there. Similarly, we have handheld devices also for doing the field level changes. Okay, if you want to do certain modification at the field site, then some PLC have come with the handheld devices also. Those devices are similar to the devices which you observe in the yes, bus transportation, state transport bus. They also they are using one handheld device for giving you the ticket. So in the same manner we have that one. Okay, but normally nowadays we are going to use a laptop or desktop PC for programming a PLC. So you are going to just write down the program in the programming device. Mostly the programming language is used, it's called as the ladder language. Okay, once the program is tested, yeah, on the simulations, we are going to download it into the PLC. It is possible to upload the PLC program from PLC, make the changes and again download it. So bidirectional communication is possible in the PLC and programming device. Okay, so this is the basic components of a PLC. Okay.